end, or Tim's research, and Mike and Potter's, well, everyone's time, but those three specifically would probably charge. So now that you're here, it would be good for you to just get to grips with that.
Yeah.
That thing, and if you're happy to do that, if you want anyone's help.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Grab someone.
Okay. No, I'll do it. If you give me the times, you've written down times already for last meeting?
We've had 6 hours so far.
Okay.
So including this, so this would, at the end of this, would have 6 hours of group meeting. No, we wouldn't. We would have one.
This would be the third.
It'd be a bit, but we only had on Friday 3 times.
Oh no.
So we only had. This would be 4 hours of group meeting.
And what about the meeting on
And then
Friday?
Tim will tell you how many hours he's done researching, that type of thing.
It's just an hour though.
So it's just about working out now. We'll get into a routine. Now we're going to build up. Now we know what we're doing, and when we focus specifically, and when we delegate each other tasks, then we can then tell Ben what to fill in the actual advice, and if that's okay with you, you'll get updates and you just easily just fill that out. And that's like basically your main job. And we can all chip in with help.
So far we're only billing for 3 hours meeting. This is the third hour, and 1 hour of your research stuff. That's it.
What about video? Are we doing video?
We've got.
Last week.
We've done 2 for last week and this week.
So it'd be £200 per person per hour for filming. That's the production. So that's only for production activity, and we're not doing that just yet. So none of that counts. So at the moment we're looking at the group consultation session. That was it. Yeah, and the management. If anyone's done any, and that also has to be charged per hour, doesn't it? So I think instead of one person tracking it, like Ben, asking everyone how they're doing, we keep our own accounts, but update Ben.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
So it's an agreement with that.
Did
so
you do research for that as well?
Keep track of what you've done.
So how's the best, just to let you know during the group sessions, or should we just message on the group what we've done?
I'll probably do it every time we meet. Might as well just start it, update it, just keep like a log going.
Is that best?
Because if anyone does any outside research or anything, Ben needs to be told pretty straight.
Exactly.
If anyone does any work outside of the meetings, put it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, should we
I think that's the best thing to do.
But we
then
know
there's a
that
record of it as well.
we can, whenever we have a group consultation, say you can't make it or someone else can't make it, that's doing that job, then we'll just let you know by text message how many hours we worked. But at the moment, the group consultation sessions are going to be the most expensive things, because we've had 2 of those already, and it's per hour as well, and that will take up a lot of budget. So we need to then think about how to budget. Hence, the next page 18, how important that is to budget for the actual prototype itself, because we can group meet as many times as we want, but it's just going to cost us a lot of money.
Yeah.
In terms of before we speak to the bank manager, which would be a great conversation, I'm sure.
You know how mean banks are.
We'll bring our best plan.
You wanted to ask Jeff about the HR thing as well, didn't you?
Oh yes. Okay. It says that we should really focus, or likely to focus, on line managers or HR departments. That's just a suggestion.
It is just a suggestion.
That's fine. I'm just making sure. And we'll, obviously, a lot of these topics are HR related. The majority of them are.
Well, then, yes, they're HR management related.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it would be unwise to drift too far off.
Yes.
Anything
Yes. I mean, whatever you do, as long as you tell me what you're thinking of doing, and then I'll say that's okay or that's not okay.
Sure. Anyone got any other questions for Jeff whilst we're figuring out stuff?
If you think about the mindset that I brought this module to do, the mindset is how do you get the maximum learning from about management and leadership within the framework of the assignment. So if you think of that, and not just the process, but actually the topic that you're looking at, then recruitment in your case is a very important part of the management process.
Of course it is.
So that's why it's there.
Okay, that's great. Alright, well, the reason I mentioned that finance thing was just to get it out here now, so that before we dive into what I was planning to do today.
Just before you do that, can I just stop you for a moment and just talk about the process that I've observed? Because just to explain, the role of the facilitator, which is the role I'm taking at the moment, is to look at what's going on in your group and to ask one or two questions that may help you to think about the way in which this process is being managed, because this is the focus of your second assignment. So, just to give you some sort of feedback, I mean, the conversation was moving well during the sort of 5 minutes of observation that I had. Being specific, there was quite a bit of information giving. There was support being presented by different people, which you can see on your video. You were asking relevant questions of different people, and they were responding, and they were giving you their thoughts and ideas. However, if you think about the model, there's always a however, isn't there? If you think about the model that I was illustrating to you in week 2, which was the Adair model of leadership, can you think about any way in which in that short interlude that I've been observing, where there may be a question over whether all those 3 elements, the task, the group and the individual, were being attended to? Can you think of any gap in that during the last few minutes that you've been operating? Okay, let me give you my observation. Within the group, there were 2 people who said nothing during that period. Now, my question to you is, how do you know what they're thinking?
Without asking.
All you know is that they're not opposing what you're doing. They're not speaking their opposition to it. You could take their silence to be assent, at the very least, but it's also worth thinking about, well, how do I engage with them, and how do I know what they are thinking?
Sure.
So that's quite an important point in terms of the skill set that we're utilising.
So if I asked a question, or someone asked a question, like, is anyone opposed to that? And that's an open question for the group.
That's for a team. That's a
so
team
that's
answer.
Team. So if I felt that someone wasn't talking, picking them out would be beneficial.
Very much so.
Yeah. And would it be better than not to ask that open question and automatically just go to the individuals straight away?
If you're thinking about, it depends. You've got these 3 things whizzing through your mind all the time: task, team, individual.
Yeah.
The tendency is to focus on the team and the task, and to forget the individuals, because it seems interrogatory or whatever inhibitions we have, which is part of what this is about. So the question is, how do you know what those individuals are thinking? That's the question. And do they know what they're thinking? And that's useful for them then to sort of try and frame their own thoughts and be able to express it. Remember, this is not sentimental, this is not about being nice, this is about engaging all your resources. All right? And this team is your resource. So there is a danger that you are wasting resources by not engaging with specific individuals at particular times. Now, it shouldn't be a mechanical process, and you'll get the flow of what's going on, absolutely. But nevertheless, at this juncture, particularly in the early days when you're trying to get people's ideas, it's sort of quite useful to do. So what I would encourage you to do is just think about that last few minutes conversation that you've had, where you've been talking about the the type of product that you want to produce and the market that you want to produce it for, and ask yourself, have I got every individual's contribution, and if not, what are you going to do about it?
Okay.
That's all. I mean, I think the atmosphere is good. You've got people contributing. It's all going well, but there's that little thing.
Well, maybe we can practice that in the next bit. So if we turn to page 15. Now we've got a market and a product, we can look at what our organisation is there to do. So we can make it like a statement, like a mission statement, to help us understand and create a culture in this group. Do you guys want to? Any of you got any ideas to throw out first of all? About like a mission statement, or what you think preliminarily what our organisation is there to do once we've created anything at all.
So just to make sure, so we're going for number 13, recruit staff, and then under that sort of umbrella we're going for graduate, hiring, how to recruit the best graduates for your company.
And so how to attract like the highest number of candidates. So it's like attracting as many people as we can.
So it's improving efficiency.
Yeah, because getting more applicants. So the more applicants you have, the higher the chance that there's going to be someone in there who's up to scratch for what you want. And obviously you can narrow it down later on in the process. But the bit that we're trying to go through is the actual acquiring of.
Or just increasing the numbers.
We're looking more about how to recruit, when to recruit, why to recruit, where to recruit.
It's not just getting the number of applicants, but the quality. So
that's what I thought. More than the number. Because I thought just because you get more people doesn't at all mean they're going to be better, and it's going to take you more time to
sift through it.
Yeah, so I would have thought the efficiency thing would have been better
so
quality.
where I assessed it was provide a website where companies have an account and they can have graduate recruitment advice on improving efficiency. But I don't know what you guys think.
I think depending on the company, depends on their strategy to employing people, doesn't it? So I think it's going to have to be quite unique to each.
I think we can make it quite broad enough.
We're going to have to, I think.
Because before in the previous meeting we said, all right, let's do it on tiny businesses. I don't think we need to, because if you look at like a really niche market, such as like a consultancy firm, such as Bain, they're like they only hire the top people, so they wouldn't. Their social media strategy would be totally different to like a company like Microsoft or something. They would go to like universities like Oxford and Harvard and have like networking events there, whereas like an average company, well, not an average company, but a company not similar to theirs, they would have a totally different strategy, and that's where they could be going wrong.
So we're working at that sort.
So how they get the people in to click apply. So yeah, the strategy and